Hi, guys. Welcome to another week of crazy cosmic energy on the Love and Science channel. So, we're going to be looking at Saturday, April 16th through Friday, April 22nd. And so this week we have a Libra full moon, we have the sun in Taurus, and yeah, lots of stubborn fixed energy going on this week for sure. And it's interesting because this Neptune and Jupiter conjunction, I was talking about it actually with my members in the Libra full moon video that I did for them. But this Neptune and Jupiter conjunction, when I said last week that nobody really knows how this is going to play out, and honestly, I think that it's really up to where your mental state of mind is, because Neptune and Pisces energy is very mental. It's very 12th house. And that's the inner mind prison. Ask any 12th house native, like what that feels like. Excuse me. So yeah, during this Neptune and Jupiter conjunction, which we're still going to be feeling pretty heavily this week and in the coming weeks, it'll subside a lot more as we get into May, but yeah, we're still going to be feeling it for a little while, but it's the strongest right now. And you can really get lost in your mind, and you can really get lost in the ego, and you can really get lost in the negative narratives and all of that. And this week, there are more opportunities for things like that to happen. So again, really stressing being centered, really stressing being grounded, really stressing that there's not a lot of things that you can control in your life. The one thing you can control for sure is yourself. So, and all the other things that you can control, the funny thing is you can only kind of control them to a certain point, because at any given moment, the entire universe could shift and our lives change, So, and those are sort of some moments that we have this week with that. So let's look at the energies. And as usual, excuse me, as usual, we have, I'm going to go through the day to day, and I forgot to move this little arrow. Don't just ignore the little arrow on the screen here. Forgot to take it out. But we're going to go day to day. And at the end, when we get to the bottom, you can go ahead and take a screenshot so that you guys can also do your research as well if you want to do research. So April 16th to the 21st, 22nd. This should say the 22nd also. Wow. All the things. I'm blaming it on Jupiter, Neptune in the 6th house. That's what I'm going to do. That's where I'm blaming it. Blame it on the planets. Not that I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing and I didn't double check my work. Saturday, April 16th, the Libra full moon is happening. Ooh, it went away. Saturday, April 16th, the Libra full moon is happening at 2:54 p.m. Eastern, 26 degrees. It will be square Pluto at 28 degrees, trine Saturn at 23 degrees. Sunday, April 17th, the Scorpio moon will trine Mars and Venus opposite Mercury, conjunct Uranus, sextile Venus. I guess they decided that it wanted to do it on its own. Monday, April 18th, we have, so this Mercury conjunct Uranus, sextile Venus is going to be interesting. I don't know what this is doing, but it's pretty funny. So we're just going to let it have a mind of its own. I don't know what it's doing. Monday, April 18th, Scorpio moon, square Saturn, trine Neptune and Jupiter, conjunct the South Node. So, yeah, really aggressive energy, really aggro energy coming off that Libra full moon. And then we'll have also the sun square Pluto on Monday. So the egos are going to be really loud. And that Libra full moon, if you remember, we talked about the Aries new moon being about the warrior inside of us. This Libra full moon is showing us where there's the balance is not reciprocated in the relationships that we have with other people. And a lot of that is because those people are reflecting things within ourselves that we need to work on, and our egos don't like that so much. And the Scorpio moon after the Libra moon, we'll talk about it a little more, is going to be really fun and show us all of that. So then Tuesday, April 19th, we'll have the Sagittarius moon square Mars, trine Chiron, and this is actually my lunar return. And we have the sun in Taurus happening in the evening, and the sun will be in Taurus until May 21st. I love that Taurus season is starting during my lunar return. Like, what a great way to go. Like, this is just, I'm excited about it. Let's go spring. Because that, I mean, yeah, especially square Mars, my lunar return square Mars, that's going to be a good one. Take an action. Here we go. Wednesday, April 16th, we have the Sagittarius moon square Venus, square Neptune, and square Jupiter, all in Pisces, remember? And we'll sextile Saturn. So I really think, you know, Wednesday will be kind of a toss-up as well. We'll talk about it. I think I'm kind of hoping that the Jupiterian optimism outweighs the day, like outweighs that square. I think it might. Thursday, April 17th, we have that Capricorn moon, trine the sun, sextile Mars, and then a late night square to Chiron. And then on Friday, April 18th, we have the Capricorn moon, trine Uranus, and Mercury and sextile Venus, Neptune, Jupiter, and conjunct Pluto. So the second half of the week, as Friday leaves again, that's pretty funny. The second half of the week, go ahead and take your screenshot now. Did it again. I don't know why it keeps doing that, but the second half of, all right, stay. The second half of the week is really going to be ruled a lot by what's going on with the moon. And where that's so wild that I had to say that like 5 times. So that Libra full moon is going to bring out the energy for like what the rest of the week is really going to show you as well. And there's just sort of a no turning back kind of thing that's going to happen, where you're going to recognize the ways that you're giving more into certain relationships where you need to be giving more to yourself. And it's like, I'm not going to do it anymore. There's just, you know, after that, standing up for yourself, and after really recognizing the things and, you know, pointing them out to yourself and being honest with yourself, sometimes you get to a point in your life where there's like the point of no return. And this is kind of that week where, because the moon, you know, sort of taking over the second half of the week, is kind of taking charge of all of our emotions. So, and, you know, Mercury getting closer to Uranus even today, and you watching like all that whole thing, when I did the reading, the preview of it before, it all worked fine. And it didn't do that. I don't know what it was doing. But here we are. Technology is weird. I know that I've heard that other people are having problems with their technology too. So I know I'm not the only one, but we're living in some interesting times, kids. Let's look at the charts. Saturday. So we talked a little bit about the full moon going on Saturday. We talked about it during last week's energy update. And so this is the exact moment that the moon is the fullest. It'll be in the middle of the day in the United States. So we have 2:54 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time is when the full moon is going to happen. And it will be square Pluto, this 2-degree square Pluto. And will also be trine Saturn in Aquarius. We're also going to have Mercury and Uranus coming close to conjunction, which happens on Sunday. And this will all be sextile Venus in Pisces. So there's a lot going on right now with this full moon. There's definite changes in relationships that are happening, especially in the relationships that have been like restricting your evolution and your growth. We really just can't allow ourselves to keep holding ourselves back for other people. And when you can see the restrictions happening, and really the way that it is like your energy and the other energy of the person just clashes and clashes and clashes and clashes and clashes. And the more that happens, it's like you just don't want to be around it. Like you literally are, you kind of begin to repel. Your energy like repels each other almost. And you get into arguments and nothing ever seems to go right. And you're really annoying each other and just, things like that. And sometimes that can be reconciled by just giving each other a little bit of space and being like, I just need to like not be in your presence for a little bit. Like, can we, and sometimes people can reconcile and be that way. But if it's like a continuous thing and it's not something that, neither one of you are really being respectful of the other one's energy anymore, being aware of it, or one of you is and the other one isn't, that's when you really have to ask yourself the hard questions. Like, do I really want to continue trying this hard? Or do I really, and this is in all relationships, partnerships, business, friendships, family members, all of it. I know the 7th house is about like the partnerships that we have in life, but really this is about looking at all of your relationships. This is also about paying attention to, the money aspects that are going on in your life too, because we're going to have Venus involved. And Venus is the ruler of Libra and is also the ruler of Taurus, which is sextile Venus, right? The Mercury and Uranus conjunction. So, if you want to see what this full moon will be doing for your rising sign, I've got that video up for the members today. You can pop on over there and see it there. But yeah, this is definitely like wherever Libra is in your chart, there's this balance and relationships that we're looking at. And Mercury conjunct Uranus, having Uranus in Taurus has shifted and changed our lives within the pandemic to we had to learn how to have a different kind of normal, a new kind of normal. We learned to value things in different ways. We got the air fryer and we got the Instant Pot and we got all of the comfortable all day lounge wear. I joke all the time that I'm changing from my day pajamas to my night pajamas, even still now, but I have a reason to. But there's just, we found a different way of living and we value our time more and we value, the energy output that we're putting into companies, and we're recognizing that we're not getting paid as much and we deserve more. Like Uranus in Taurus, and now that the North Node is in Taurus, we're all recognizing the sense of value that wasn't there before. And that, yes, even though our value isn't about what our environment looks like or what our bank account looks like or, how many likes we have on social media, some people are taking this North Node in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus to that kind of level. But at the end of the day, a lot of people that I've been seeing this in a lot of people, they're really seeing that they're owning their value more. And they're like, I'm no longer going to conform to what the world wants me to be or wants to see of me. This is, it's ridiculous. I'm not going to do that anymore because I know that I'm better and I value myself more. So there's a really big extreme to that. Like there's a lot of people that are conforming more to societal standards. And then there's this whole other group that's recognizing that their value is totally different than what it used to be. And you can clearly see the division in both sides of it. And, we can talk about the duality of, night and day and good and bad and positive and negative and up and down and evil and, whatever, it's, we can argue that, but it's true. There's definitely, if we don't feel the pain, if we don't go through the hard stuff, we don't appreciate the good times. If things were always like constantly good and nothing ever went bad or anything like that, then what's the point of all the, great things that go on in our lives and stuff. And I know that that's a really weird way to think about it. But I mean, my mindset has changed dramatically in the last year because my mortality is very much a present moment thing all the time. Like there's really, we can talk about how, oh yeah, I could die at any day. I could just walk out on the street and get run over by a bus. But the chances of that happening to any given person are so much like the chances of me having issues with my health versus somebody getting run over by a bus, night and day kind of thing. So this full moon is showing us where the balance needs to come, where if we want to give the input that we want to give out into the relationships, if we want to have a relationship in our life, we've got to find that independent, the Aries, that's why we had to learn how to champion ourselves in relationships, right? So this is showing us after we've learned how to champion ourselves, where those relationships, we set those boundaries, we champion, we're our own advocates. And then the people that do not want to respect that about us, clearly being shown. And by any actions or words, things out of your control, because that's what Uranus is about. It's about things that are out of our control. That pandemic was out of our control and we shifted and conformed into making our lives a lot more comfortable than they were pre-pandemic, right? And this is kind of that thing too, where it's going to be, yes, major shifts and major changes that happen as we get closer to that North Node with Uranus. But with Mercury, it's the words that can really harm something. And so really being very careful. This can also be a great creative time. And if helping you heal any kind of wounds, relationship wounds, parental wounds, family wounds, whatever, using your creative juices right now is going to be really, be super therapeutic. And remember, we are in eclipse season. The next new moon that we're going to be talking about is going to be the Taurus solar eclipse. So we don't want to manifest any new things coming in. We want to make room. It's time to make room, and it's time to bring new things into our life after we've made room. So then we have on Sunday, so fun. Sunday, we will have the moon in Scorpio down here. The moon in Scorpio will trine Mars in Pisces and Venus in Pisces. And then it will be opposite the Mercury conjunct Uranus, sextile Venus. So after the Libra full moon, we're going to have the moon in Scorpio. The moon in Scorpio, these moon and Scorpio people are overthinkers, but moon and Scorpio people, I don't want to say that. They're overthinkers, but having this opposition is going to be like driving you completely and totally insane, kind of overthinking. And there's this, you could totally, you could just make yourself insane. right after that Libra full moon. There can be so much overthinking. Scorpio is the detective of the zodiac. And when we have Mercury and Uranus so close to each other, it's like anything can happen. Words can just, whatever, right? Also, the overspending, like try not to be overindulgent, especially since we have this Jupiter and Neptune conjunction happening here. Like all of that together, a lot of overspending can happen. Also, during this time, the things that you could say can either, like, people can either change their minds about you in a good way or a bad way. Like you're really going to see how people feel. It'll be black, like the Scorpio energy is just all about everything being black and white, right? There's no gray area. It is a yes or it is a no. There is nothing in between. And so there's very much of like cutting, like ghosting energy, cutting off energy. People are just super, super fed up. And this is one of those energies that's going to be happening. Words are really, really powerful right now. Also, this is Easter Sunday. So families are going to be getting together. Relationships are definitely going to be tested. This is a time of big shifts and changes. Forcing anything to work out that is at its expiration date is going to be like the hardest. That's going to be really difficult on people when they're trying to force things to work out when the expiration date is like way past its time. You may notice that you're a little bit more agitated than usual, a little bit easily agitated, and you could need time to process emotions. Don't hold your emotions in, but this is very projecting energy, especially because we have like Chiron sitting here at the 13th degree as well, like just hanging out right in the middle of the two. Like Chiron is, there's a semi-sextile here, I mean, Chiron is working it as well. So there's a lot of healing that's happening in the world. And sometimes that has to happen by the walls breaking down first. And this is just happens to be one of those times for all of that to happen. The Scorpio moon on Monday. So let's look at where the Scorpio moon's doing on Monday. Another pretty, like the Scorpio moon is going to be pretty intense. It'll join the South Node. So anytime the moon joins the South Node, I've always noticed that nostalgic things sort of happen. Sometimes people show up in your life. And because it's like Scorpio stuff, it could be like old lovers, showing up in your life. But there's always definitely sort of an emotional shift that happens with Scorpio on the South Node, the moon on the South Node. So the Scorpio moon will square Saturn up here at 23 degrees and trine Neptune and Jupiter. And Venus. Actually, I think it trined Venus the day before. Yeah. So we have Saturn, Neptune, and Jupiter. And again, there's this, like, people just cannot be trusted in a lot of ways. And the Scorpio moon doesn't trust anybody anyways. So everybody, I feel like this whole week, the whole beginning, the end of Aries season and the beginning of Taurus season is just going to be everybody being super paranoid. That's just kind of sort of feels like what the energy is going to be like. And the sun will also be square Pluto. So we have the sun and again, Pluto energy, which we have the moon in Scorpio, and it's going to sextile Pluto also just before the ingress to Sagittarius. But this sun square Pluto is going to have all of the egos out. Everything will be on display. And if you don't have that emotional maturity and you are not in control of the negative aspects of your ego, this is going to be that thing where you could explode on people very easily. You may encounter and even oppose powerful pressure from other people. Any kind of forces exerted upon you within you or in your environment. Like there will be powerful forces that could oppose you. And that could be like your own inner demons. You know, it could be that like you are fighting against yourself. And what's really interesting is like one of the things that I've really learned a lot is the more we fight ourselves inside, the more we're fighting with other people on the outside. Like and it's that anger, right? It's, you know, I didn't realize just how angry of a person I actually was, because I would always just be like, no, everything's fine. It's dealt with, whatever, it's past, you know, I don't have to deal with it anymore. It's in the past. But I didn't realize how much anger I was actually holding on to for the things that had happened to me in my life. And even though a lot of that stuff were the choices that I made, and I had to take accountability for the choices that I've made, a lot of it also was the choices that other people made on my behalf. And sometimes I was in such vulnerable positions with people and they made choices on my behalf that they were not good for me, but still happened. And so you have to, you know, in moments like this, when we have, you know, the Scorpio moon squaring Saturn and the sun is squaring Pluto, and we have this Neptune and Jupiter conjunction that's really just making everything kind of an illusion and sort of chaotic, we have to understand that we can only control ourselves. Mercury is still, Uranus is, I'm sorry, Mercury is still sextile Venus, still conjunct Uranus here as well. That's still happening. So there's a lot of like know-it-all energy that's still going on. And, you know, people are just going to be very argumentative. And the way that you can avoid that is by having your own control over your own emotions, your you know, reigning in your own ego. And especially if this is happening in houses like the 8th house for you, like if, you know, Pluto is in the 8th house, or, you know, or the 12th house, or the sun is in the 12th house, or in the 10th house, or whatever. However, wherever this is happening for you, it could be that you're arguing with yourself and you're fighting with yourself. And that ego battle within yourself is only a reflection of how you handle your relationships with other people too. Because if you're being awful and mean to yourself, then you're going to be awful and mean to other people, whether it's conscious or not. That's just what happens. Or you're going to project it, or you're going to be like, you know, no, don't put the mirror up in front of me and show me all of the things about me, kind of thing. So just really paying attention. This can help you to build strength for the future for you. The challenges that we have in life help to build character, and it helps to build strength, and it helps to show us what we're no longer willing to just accept, right? It shows us how to show up for ourselves. So Tuesday, the 19th, we have the sun in Aries up at the 29th degree all day long. It'll ingress to Taurus at 10:23 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So Aries sun at that 29th degree, that anaretic degree. The 29th degree is really full of a lot of pressure. So there's a lot of tension and a lot of pressure, especially when we have it in like Mars, Pluto signs, Mars signs, you know, the heavier, you know, we can feel it differently in each of, you know, in each of the areas of the chart. But you know, there's just this desire to want to just like go with, or like this, we feel very restricted at this 29th degree. The thing is going from the 29th degree of Aries to the 1st degree of Taurus. That 1st degree of Taurus is a completely different energy than that Aries energy. We're going from cardinal to fixed. We're going from fire to earth. It's like night and day, the polarities of it. And you know, having the sun at the 29th degree, you don't want to like shoot off and, you know, get into that Taurus energy and kind of like be the bull in the china shop, because that's going to, you know, that's what it's going to feel like. So waking up tomorrow morning, you may feel a little bit lighter and a little bit better, or not tomorrow morning, sorry, waking up Wednesday morning, waking up Wednesday morning, the sun's been in Taurus overnight. If things might feel a little bit better, it's also, we have the moon in Sagittarius on Tuesday, and the moon in Sagittarius is a little bit more optimistic than the Scorpio moon. It can still be just as passionate and just as like aggressive, but only if it's like triggered, right? And it could easily be triggered. It will be trine Chiron. So it'll square Mars. The moon in Sagittarius will square Mars really early, and then trine Chiron during the day, and then be in conjunct Uranus. So there could be sort of like emotional outbursts later on in the day. But again, with Jupiter, there's always two sides to everything. Jupiter is Sagittarius's ruler, and you can either have that really optimistic expansion, or you could have that really passionate, fiery, like advocate, like, you know, nobody can get through, you know, I know everything, I know best kind of energy. Trust me, I'm a Sagittarius moon. That'll be my lunar return. So I'm going to try to not be the know-it-all that day. Just, you know, that's the way that is. But the triggers that you will have on Tuesday are bringing your emotions to the surface that you haven't been paying attention to, the ones that you've sort of been, you know, kind of putting away for a rainy day. So, and really asking you, have you become your greatest advocate, or are you still fighting for yourself? Have you given up on yourself? That kind of thing. This is really a season of standing up for yourself in a big way. Just wait until Jupiter and Venus get into Aries. Wow, the way that we're going to be standing up for ourselves. People are finished. People are done with the bullshit. Like, no, people don't want to deal with it anymore. No more BS. And they're not going to be quiet about it either. So then we have the sun in Taurus. You know what, instead of doing that, let's just pop over to Wednesday. So the sun in Taurus is happening in the evening, late at night, 10:23 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Tuesday the 19th. But we're just going to go to the 20th so we can see the sun's in Taurus. The sun is going to be in Taurus until May 21st, and then we'll move in ingress to Gemini. This will be a time where we feel a little bit more rooted into the physical world, where we've had a lot, like recently, we've had a lot of this fire energy with Aries. We've had a lot of the air energy with Aquarius. Now the planets have moved into Pisces and moving into Taurus. So things are starting to become a little bit more passive. You know, Taurus and Pisces can still both be very aggressive energies when provoked. So there's like always this underlying kind of like, you know, Pisces are always sort of like circling the edges, like make sure that you're not like pissing off a Pisces for sure. They can be really aggressive, but also Taurus, you know, the bull in the china shop, you know, that's a Taurus image for sure. Taurus energy is fixed earth. This means, and I know that a lot of Taurians don't like being called stubborn. I don't like being called a perfectionist, like Virgos are always called perfectionists. And I'm like, I don't think that's true. And I don't necessarily think that Taurians are stubborn. I think that Taurians take a long time to make changes in their lives because they want to be responsible and they want to make sure that they're doing it the right way. And they want to make sure that, you know, that they're not going to be homeless, you know, things like that. So, but like, even like they're very loyal. And see, the thing is Taurus becomes stubborn because they don't want to make changes in their life. They're very comfortable where they are. And they don't like that discomfort, you know, they just don't, there's just something about like the not wanting to shift into, you know, a different way. It feels so much better to be safe and secure. The problem with that is everything is supposed to evolve and everything is supposed to change. And Uranus in Taurus, I've seen the Taurians in my life move mountains during Uranus and Taurus. And now that the North Node is in Taurus, even more Taurians are recognizing like they, you know, that changing is not always necessarily a negative thing, and that, you know, making changes in their life and saying no and not being loyal to people that aren't loyal to them, and, you know, stuff like that. Like there's been a really big shift with Taurians, and I'm so here for it. I love it. But so during Taurus season, you know, people could be a little bit more stubborn. Being right is going to be a theme. Hardworking. Taurus is ruled by Venus, so they're very creative people. Like Taurians are like the entrepreneur. I just know so many entrepreneurs that are Taurians too. So the way the Taurus energy can get in the way is if you become so boxed into a point of view that there isn't anything else that you're willing to see. This season can really help you to get focused on your projects that you need to get focused on. Careful of being too stuck or getting too comfortable. You know, I always find myself really slowing down a lot during Taurus season. And I think that it's so necessary after Aries season, because Aries season is usually like this huge clusterfuck. So it's almost like Taurus season is sort of like getting us all prepared to, you know, move into that mutable Gemini, and things get a little bit crazy again. So I like to rest a lot during Taurus season. There's a lot of self-care. The second house rules Taurus. So it's, you know, all about your physical environment, and the, you know, and I even think of like the body too as the physical environment. But, you know, caring for yourself and even looking at your budget during this time is also some things that would be good for Taurus season. Wednesday, we will have the moon in Sagittarius, square Venus, Neptune, and Jupiter, all in Pisces, and then will be sextile Saturn. I think that Wednesday is going to be the most creative day out of the week. I think that people will still be a little bit feisty. I think the whole week is going to be a little bit feisty. I'm hoping that with this sun movement into Taurus, that people chill out a little bit, and just like, I'm hoping that the Venetian energy sort of like washes over everybody and we sort of chill out a little bit. But I do think that a lot of people aren't going to like the slowdown effect that's happening with Mars now in Pisces, with the sun now in Taurus, like all of this very docile energy can affect those people that just want to go, 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 you know? So don't overdo your energy. Don't overtax yourself, for sure. You know, this could be a very creative and optimistic day if you can get over yourself, get over like the sadness of things. Because you can always be sad about something, you know, pain is in abundance. We're all going through something, but when you find that joy and happiness, that's the challenge that's to be accepted, right? Like you could wake up every single day and be miserable about your life. That is the easiest thing to do. You know, it takes nothing to do that, but it takes a lot for you, you know, when you, a once miserable person, to turn their mind around and to not think about that. That's a big deal. Thursday, like I said, the second half of the week is really just going to be ruled by the moon. Thursday, we will have the moon in Capricorn trine the sun. We will have the moon in Capricorn sextile Mars. And then we will have the moon in Capricorn square Chiron late at night. I feel like because there's just so much earth energy, people are just wanting to get things done. Like Capricorn energy can be a little bit harsh. Can I say, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, see, I don't know how well Capricorn energy is necessarily doing during Pisces season right now. So I feel like there's just going to be this sort of emotional undertone. Just people are just fed up. Like they just don't want to deal with anything right now. So focusing on your work, focusing on yourself, focusing on your work Literally the Capricorn moon is just saying, let's all get to work. Let's all focus on what we need to focus on. It might bring a moodiness. Like there's going to be this sort of this undertone of sadness that I feel like may, like Eeyore type energy, not really much. So again, there's a choice that we all have to make. And a lot of times when the Capricorn moon happens, we are being shown how, like, where we're putting too much, like the exhaustion, our exhaustion for putting all of the output, putting ourselves too much out there. That exhaustion is the moodiness. The exhaustion is the sadness. Like if you just ate and drank some water and maybe took a nap, then maybe your toddler, that tantrum, that ego tantrum that you're having in that toddler wouldn't be so loud. So this week is, taking care of yourself and focusing, on your own emotional maturity and not the anger, and, removing yourself from situations that make you angry. That's going to be a really big thing. Friday, we have the moon in Capricorn will trine Uranus and Mercury in Taurus. Mercury is getting very close to conjunct the North Node. There's a lot of really important things that, like, talks are going to be happening. I feel like this is one of those times where you want to, like, you could really express yourself in a lot of positive ways, and, getting creative and, yeah, I really like actually the Mercury conjunct North Node energy, but we'll talk about that a little bit more for next week's energy. So the moon in Capricorn will trine Uranus and Mercury, and the moon in Capricorn will sextile Venus, Neptune, Jupiter, and conjunct Pluto. Really, it's just going to be one of those days where, like, getting out of your own way, focusing on work could be a really good thing. But if you are super emotional, like Capricorn moons are very emotional beings, they just don't readily show it. Like there's just, they feel everybody else's emotions, but they don't necessarily show their own. And they're kind of like the responsible adults in the crowd. So it's just it just feels very, very somber. Some people are going to feel the creativeness of this, and other people are just going to feel like I'm not really feeling a whole lot. But in all of it is healing. And that's where we recognize, through all of this energy that everybody is having to work through. I've seen so many people grow, and I've seen so many people go through the hardest parts of their lives and come out on the other end better, and so the more that we just sort of lean in instead of shy away, the more we accept our courage, the more we accept our bravery, the more that we allow ourselves to show up for ourselves, even when it's hard because we don't necessarily like ourselves, the easier all of this energy is going to be. So the Libra full moon is going to be really, really revealing, and the week after is going to be even more revealing. And this is a time of deep illusion of the outside world, and a lot of growth and awareness can happen within because of the illusion of the outside world. So take good care of yourselves. I love you guys. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you later.